Hi everyone, my name is Holly and I'm the editor of International Airport Review, and I'm joined here by Ajesh Verma, who is head of security at Noida International Airport. So Ajesh, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Holly.
Firstly, could you tell us a little bit about your role at Noida International?
Yes, Holly, first of all, thanks for having me out here. And as you mentioned, I am heading the security function of our Greenfield Airport, Noida International Airport, which is one of the most prestigious aviation project coming up in the country. And my responsibility at this stage involves that we create an infrastructure which is fully compliant to the regulatory provisions of aviation security. Also, it involves that we identify the latest aviation security technologies which are in use and which are futuristic, and we use them for our airport. And last but not least is we enroll a trained staff for aviation security, or we pick up the trained staff and create the procedures and the manuals which are mandatory and which are functional, and have the airport commission maybe by end of next year. Sorry.
That sounds hugely exciting. And I mean, of course, as you mentioned, Noida is a greenfield airport. So you're in rather a unique position as your airport has not yet been built. So can you tell us a little bit about the vision for security at Noida and the key considerations that yourself are going to have to take into account?
Yes. So as we are building if I may say, the largest greenfield airport in the country, the vision, firstly, is to meet all compliances which are required for aviation. As you're well aware, that aviation is a highly regulated industry because of the security concerns of the country. So the vision is to establish a system which is not only fully compliant to the security norms, but also which provides the protection and safety of complete airport ecosystem by affecting laid down security controls of the country. And thereby, we should be able to address the complete spectrum of threat landscape, which can impact our business continuity. Yeah. And if I talk about certain key considerations, as I mentioned, the most primary consideration is we comply to the regulatory norms and we get go ahead from the regulatory body. Second key consideration revolves around the employment of technology. So we intend to employ the latest technology, which should ensure that we are able to provide the passenger experience, which is seamless in nature, and they are not hassled by security control without impacting the security of the airport. And last but not the least, both for security and non-security staff, we create adequate security culture in the airport. Holly?
Absolutely. And you mentioned next generation technology, but what does this actually look like? Like what should an airport be deploying if they are to say they have next generation security tech?
Yes, so technology is, and the next generation technology primarily in aviation security domain is, as you know, the country is adopting the DigiYatra concept, and it has already commissioned in few of the airports in trial basis. So which is giving a seamless flow to the passenger based upon facial recognition system. And so which increases the throughput passenger experience and yet provide security control. So we will be DigiYatra compliant right from day one in the country, and which will still be one of the few airports to have done that. Besides this, we intend to utilize some of the latest security technologies like in inline hold baggage system. We are going for destination coded trays on our belt. So at any point in time, the baggage on the hold baggage can be traced and can be screened. For cabin baggage screening, we are going for 3D computer tomography screening system, which not only allows better picture to a better picture to the screener and allows him better decision making, but also it provides a seamless experience to the passenger because he doesn't need to take out his laptop, and thus it is little comfortable. We are also going for full body scanners, and which will again give a better throughput in screening of passengers, and it will provide a seamless experience. We are going for a remote screening of cabin baggage, so the whole process is much faster. And our security staff, the sovereign body in India, we have Central Industrial Security Force, will be doing it very effectively. All our departure security checkpoints will have automated tray retrieval system, which provides again a seamless experience and yet faster throughput. In addition to all this, we are going to be providing a perimeter intrusion detection system, which is one of the most important security technology for the operational area of the airport, and which will be feeding directly into the security operations center. And this technology will be combined with the CCTV systems and the access control system. So all three technologies combined and gives a consolidated feed at the security operations center, which allows us to take much faster decision and provides a better way the security is managed in the airport. Besides that, we are looking to buy latest equipment in terms of bomb disposal equipment and threat containment vehicle, with a view to be able to address any bomb threat contingency or any anti-hijacking contingency in much smarter and much faster ways. We are also going to be providing total e-gates and barcode scanners and other technologies so that the passengers are able to pass from the terminal entrance till the boarding gate without any hassle. So these are few of the technologies which we have shortlisted, and we are still evolving. Holly.
Well, it sounds fantastic, and it sounds like you have all the latest technology to play with it in your role, Ajesh. But I mean, we spoke just before we started, didn't we? So you were a colonel in the Indian Army for 26 years, and of course, you also worked for Adani Airports. So how would you say that this knowledge and experience has helped within your roles within the airports?
Holly, thanks for asking this question, because I had 4 years of training and 26 plus years of commissioned service in Indian Army, and which gave me wonderful exposure of facing difficult situations in difficult terrains in different threat spectrum in India and abroad. I was part of United Nations mission in Congo and also Eritrea and Ethiopia, and you know what are the conditions in these countries. I have been deployed in the most difficult areas in my country, which are militant prone along border and likewise. So all these years of experience firstly have given me enough confidence to face these situations and the challenges in a much evolved manner. So this has allowed me to understand the threat much better and identify the existing vulnerabilities and risk mitigation techniques in much better manner. The basis of security, the fundamentals remain same. Only aviation has a different landscape, and which courtesy my stint in Adani's, wherein I was able to see the security of 7 airports when I was in Adani has given me enough exposure. And now, obviously, when you're working in Greenfield Airport, then everything has to start from scratch and you have to go to the grassroots level of understanding and deploying the technology. So I am very grateful to my service in Army and obviously Adani, uh, which is helping me a great bit in delivering the security role in this Noida International Airport. Ollie.
Yeah, would you say that security threat in general has evolved over the past 26 years when you joined the sector?
Yes, obviously. Every passing day, we see a new threat which is evolving. And like last 1.5, 2 years, we had an attempted drone attack in one of our airport, and suddenly you see the threat spectrum has increased. I will not say change, but increased from the existing threat to drones and cyber. We have seen world over the airports are getting impacted by cyber threat, which is disrupting the business continuity. So yes, it is evolving by the day. Ollie.
And what would you say are the biggest threats then, apart from that, to aviation? And how do you think they will evolve in the future? What do you think they will be in the future?
See, the way threats are evolving in aviation sector. Firstly, we know that aviation sector is one of the most threatened sector because it gives immediate sensationalization to the perpetrators. We have seen the impact of terrorist attacks in aviation sector, whether it is 9/11, and before that we had a hijacking in the country in 1999, and the aviation security norms continuously are evolving to counter these threats. So definitely terrorist threat remains one of the most high priority threats. But notwithstanding, now there are more advanced ways of impacting the aviation ecosystem, which I feel is the biggest threat today is drone. And countering the drone threat remains a challenge because any counter drone mechanism may have the potential to interfere with air traffic control mechanism because of the navigation system and the bandwidths are similar. So this remains a big challenge. And cyber threat is one thing I want to emphasize because this threat is increasing by the day as our digital footprints in the airport are increasing. So we are going digital and it's a way forward, but then it comes as a double-edged weapon, if I may say, and we have to be guarded for that.
Absolutely. And recent research by Bridewell revealed in the UK that over a fifth of critical national infrastructure decision makers now rank employee sabotage among their biggest risks to their organization's IT environment. So taking this into consideration, how will security interests be protected within your own employees at Noida?
Oh, yes, Holly, you're absolutely right, because insider threat remains a primary threat for any industry, and its repercussions are very, very severe in aviation. I mean, if we pick up the history of aviation security incidents, we will find that no incident was feasible unless and until insider was involved in that, and it always remains a challenge. Now, how to counter it is a matter of great diligence and deliberations. First of all, we are very careful in our hiring procedures, which includes the background check of a thorough background check of the persons whom we are hiring and taking feedback from number of places, agencies, and the companies in which they have worked. Second thing, once you have a person and sometimes an insider may turn rogue. So there has to be a clear-cut grievance redressal system so that instead of an insider turning rogue, he should be able to approach somebody to redress his grievance. And next point I want to highlight is effective security culture in the airport or in the aviation ecosystem in the airport. If we maintain an effective security culture and we have an odd person with a malified intention, he can be checked by other staff, whether they are from security or non-security. So building up security culture is extremely important. Technologically, I feel that access control in airport environment is extremely important, wherein we should have people who should be able to go to the areas to which they are permitted, and need to know knowledge has to be affected in aviation environment. And last but not the least, I would like to highlight the focus on behavior profiling. We not only have to train our staff in identification of threat in terms of proactive measures, but also use the technology which can support us in achieving this behavior profiling. Sorry.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now you will be speaking at the International Airport Summit on a panel entitled The Evolving Cyber Physical Threat Landscape. So what do you think about this merging of physical and cyber threats? Should they, in your opinion, be treated separately? And how do you see this evolving in the future?
So that's a very, very valid and very important question. And my understanding of this merging of physical and cyber threat is that it has to be seen as one, because one cannot affect without the support of other. And this physical and cyber threat manifests itself to the full spectrum if they are joined, and we can face the vulnerabilities can be exploited much effectively if they are merged. So what are the challenges which exist in mitigating this threat? Is firstly, as I mentioned, that digitization is a need of growing, is a need for having a better passenger experience. But digitization without thinking into the mitigation measures of reducing cyber threat landscape has to be planned right from beginning. And for this to happen, the holistic proactive measures of physical cyber threat landscape understanding and mitigation measures is extremely important. As we go digital, which we are also going, as I mentioned that we are going for Digi Yatra and we are trying to adopt all the technologies, we definitely increase the threat surface area, cyber threat surface area, and not only on the domain of information technology, but also on the operational technology. We know that aviation ecosystem has got interdependent technologies, the third parties, and different vulnerabilities which are beyond your control. So, and also it provides the factor of deniability. We will never be able to pinpoint that where has the threat come from. So keeping all these factors in mind, I feel that a holistic solution to mitigate this cyber physical threat landscape is required, which revolves around the regulatory provisions, which should not only be national, but preferably it should have a common regulatory and legal provisions for at an international level or maybe at ICAO's level. And we have to be proactive in terms of the technologies and risk and threat intelligence framework. And we should be able to mitigate these threats in most effective manner only if we understand this landscape in as one. So I would not like to distinguish between cyber and physical threat landscape and see it as one and evolve a complete mitigation techniques to this threat.
Absolutely. And I mean, Noida, you're quite lucky because you're building from the ground up, starting afresh, so you can really think about these types of threats right from the beginning. But In your expert opinion, do you think that the airport sector and airports themselves are vulnerable? Are they taking enough precautions if they have legacy infrastructure?
That's again is a very good question, because we are lucky we are building a greenfield airport, and we can pick and choose how we want to configure the security infrastructure in terms of the design of the building, and in terms of the technology, in terms of the staff, and in terms of their training, and in terms of what should be our coordinated response to various contingencies. However, this legacy infrastructure, which is existing in many of the brownfield airport, has to be phased out, and we all understand it cannot be done overnight. So there has to be a clear-cut strategy to phase it out and upgrade it, because the challenges of upgrading the whole ecosystem also comes from the fact that the staff, especially the security staff, has to be trained in the latest technologies which are there, and also they have to be made more aware of the existing threat landscape, which is evolving by the day. So I fully agree with you that this is a threat, and we need to evolve holistically to mitigate this effect of legacy security infrastructure primarily.
So what would you say are your kind of 3 top tips for building a strong security culture, and maybe also anticipating the next threat?
Yes, so you'll be happy to know that we in a country in India, we are going to be starting a security culture week in aviation system. We just got our instructions from our regulatory body, which is Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, yesterday. That first week of August, we will be celebrating a security week. The basic aim is to increase the awareness of security amongst both security and non-security staff, and wherein we undertake various means and measures to apprise the environment of existing security threats and what are the means to overcome that. We also have a system of timely and periodic security audits and inspection, internal and third party and by the regulatory body, which enhance the security culture. Security training for all security and non-security staff on a periodic basis, and definitely adopting to better behavior profiling and adopting to better technologies, and being aware of emerging threats like drones or cyber, and sensitizing the environment is one of the few means which we can take to improve the security culture. Ollie?
Thank you so much, Ajesh. We're very much looking forward to hosting you in London at the International Airport Summit. But that was my final question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly. It's nice speaking with you. Best wishes.
Thank you.